Hello guys, and welcome back to my video series on Python fundamental. This is module 5 and the second video in module 5. We are looking at for loops, and to be precise, how we can use for loop for summation. Okay, a whole lot of summation. How can we work with for loop with that? So that's what we are going to be looking at in this video. Okay, so let's move down to IDE. So in the last video we discussed the structure of the for loop, and we said this is the structure that we have for LCV in iterable. So LCV means loop control variable, so it can represent anything, any valid variable name. And then we said iterables are things you can transverse over. Okay, those are what you call iterables, because you can build iterators out of them. So, and then we went further to write a program that was going to say hello to the user 5 times, and then we increased that to 10 times using the range function. The range function is actually giving us an iterable. That's why we are able to do that. So we also said that we can do it in one line if you have just one item. Instead of you having 2 lines here, everything can be in one line since I have just one statement within this for loop. Okay, so now what we want to look at is how can we use the for loop for summation. Let's say we are asked to sum the first n natural numbers. So when you say the first n natural number, let's say the first 10 natural numbers, they are 1 2 3 4 what 1 2 3 4. I can do that, 3 4 up to 10. This is the first 10 natural numbers. So how can we write a program to get the sum of the first 10 natural number, which is this is not going to work out, sorry, because of this ellipsis here. So how do we write a program to sum the first 10 natural numbers? So that's what we are going to do here. Okay, so for that, this is what we have. We say for, let's say the natural number is n, or let's say it is I, but I is going to be starting from 1, so we'll use the range function. I will say it should start from 1, it should end at 10, but since it's going to end at 10, here I'm going to put 11. Remember, we said the range function, when you give it 2 parameters, the first parameter represents where you want it to start, the second parameter represents the item before where you want it to stop. Okay, the item after where I want it to stop actually. So if this is 11, it means I want it to stop at 10. If this is going to be 12, then it means I want to stop at 11. Okay, just like that's how the range function works. So here we are saying, okay, we want this to repeat 10 times from 1 down to 10. Okay, that's why we have 11 here. Now I want to sum these values, but one thing with summation, before you sum values, first you need to have an initial value assigned to it. So let's say we have the sum. Let's say it is equal to 0. This is the initial value. So once this is the initial value, at each point in the loop you can start incrementing this value. You can say the new value of sum should be the old value of sum, right? Then plus I. So when this loop runs, the first value of sum is 0, so it's going to be 0 plus I is 1, 0 plus 1 will give you 1. Okay, to move again, the next value of I is 2. Now the value of sum is 1, remember, so it will now say 1 plus 2, which is 3. It will move again, the value of I now will be 3. Now remember, this is already 3, so 3 plus 3 will give you 6. When it moves again, the next value of I will be 4. Now here is already 6, so it will be sum, which is 6 plus 4, which is 10. That's just how it will proceed until the value of I will become 10. There to say, okay, what's the value of sum plus that 10. Now the reason we are keeping this sum outside is we want it to be encountered once. Okay, that's just for you to initialize the sum. That's why it is outside. This is where the logic is happening. Okay, so let's run this and see. So after we must have done this, what we need to do is to come outside of the loop and print the value of sum. So you can see I came outside of the loop to print the value of sum. What will happen if I had left that inside? If you had done this, okay, let's say you forgot and then you left this part indented, automatically it's going to print the sum after each iteration. Okay, so after the first iteration the sum is 1, the second iteration is 3, the third iteration, after the fourth iteration. This is going to be nice for debugging purpose. Maybe you want to track the progress of your loop, that you can put this print within a loop, okay, or for some other reason. But in this case, that's not what we want. We want to print it after everything. So that's the reason we need to bring this guy outside. Okay, so that's the first program to get the sum of the first n natural numbers. If I want to get the value from the user and then compute the sum of that, then what I need to do is to still write this, but now I'm going to get the value from the user. So I'll say, okay, let's say what's the value of n. So I have to convert it to an int, then I have the input statement, right? Then I'm asking the user to enter the value of n. So these are will enter the value of n. Then I'm going to pass in that value of n into this function, but I have to make it n plus 1, so that is going to include the last item. So let's say I want to find the sum of the first 5 natural numbers. It will give me 15. If I run this again and say I want to find the sum of the first 100 natural numbers, or 100 I mean 100 natural numbers, it's going to give me that that's 5050. Okay, that is the sum of the first 100 natural numbers. So that's what we have in this situation. That's the first program with the modified version. Now the second program is, what if this summation has to be from a list? So this is where we want to start using what we learned in the last module. Okay, list and the rest of that. We'll use the range. Now let's work with it with the list. So what if it were to be from the list? So let's say I have some items, some random numbers, or let's say some random numbers. Let's say I have numbers, and I have them to be, they are random. So okay, I just have this, and I want a program that is going to sum all the values in this list. For me to write a program to sum all the values in this list, I have to go through the same process we did for this. Just that this time around, I'm not picking a value from the range function. I'm picking a value from these numbers, okay, not from the range function. So you should know that the for loop does not work with just the range function. Just like I told us here, the for loop works with any iterable, and the range is one of the most common iterable that we use with the for loop. But apart from that, you have other iterables, like the list is another iterable we want to use now with the for loop. But before I use this, let me show you how programmers that are coming from other fields into Python will write this, or how you do it in other programming languages. Okay, so what you do is to try to get the index of every item I have here, then extract them. What I mean by that is this. So I can say for I in range, okay, length of numbers. So why am I doing this? What I'm doing here is this. Remember, if I look for the length of numbers, let's say I have 6 items here, or let's make it 6 items so that it's actually going to conform. I think this should be 6 items. Okay, so if I look for the length of this, it's going to give me 6. Now for the fact that it's giving me 6, I'm saying, okay, for I in range, length of 6, length in 6 rather. Now since it's for I in range 6, it means the value of I is going to be from 0 to 5, and 0 to 5 are simply the indices we have for this guy there. So this is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, which means I can serve as the index that we can use to extract each item we have here, right? So if I do something like number of I, if I say number of I, it means when I is 0, I'm picking numbers of 0, sorry. And numbers of 0 is simply 5, which is the first item. When I is 1, numbers of 1 is 3, which is the second item. When I is 2, numbers of 2 is 5, just like that. That is what this is doing. But now, each number I get, I want to sum them. I want to get the sum of everything. So let's say summation this time around. And let's make summation to be equal to 0. Okay, initializing it to be 0, you have to initialize it. Then at this point, what I need to do is to say summation is equal to the old value of summation, right? Then plus number of I. Then after everything as usual, guys, okay, for this let's track the progress. So I want to track the progress, so I'm going to print summation inside of the loop so that it will tell me what is actually going on after each iteration. So if you run this and I have an error, summation is not defined. How did I spell summation? Summation on line 2, summation. Okay, this is equal to, right? Okay, so this is what we have. So for the first case we have a 5, next we have 8, which is the sum of these two. Okay, then we have when you add this to 8, you have 13, you have 16, you have 21, and then you have that. So that's what you have. But now when you write a program this way, a good Python programmer will then detect it and say, okay, this guy is coming from another language. This is not the Pythonic way of writing this kind of expression. So the Pythonic way would be this. You don't need the range function to start with. So the range is an iterable, the list is an iterable. So why would you use the range to do the work of the lists? So what I can do here is just to say, okay, let this be numbers. So I'm using the list directly. So I is going to automatically extract each item I have here. The first value of I will be 5, the second value of I will be 3, the third value of I will be 5, just like that. So that's what this is doing. Then again, since I'm saying I, okay, let me just leave it as I. So since I is taking all those values, I'm going to change this here and I'll leave this as I. So automatically I'm saying summation plus I, and that's it, guys. There's a modification to that program. They are both going to do the same thing. So if I run it, you can see, because I'm keeping track, I have all these records here. If I don't want to keep track, what I have to do is bring this outside of the loop, and it's still going to work out fine and give me just the final result. Okay, so even if I add more items here, I say, okay, I have this, and I run this, it's going to give me what it's meant to be. So that's what we have here in this video. That's it, guys. So as usual, like and subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.